Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. So first of all, I would like to address why I haven't been here for quite some time. The reason is I've had a very bad lung infection, respiratory infection, and basically I've been in bed without being able to move for several days. Just for you to have an idea, I lost something like 10-12 pounds in 3 days. Very high fevers, coughing, couldn't sleep, etc., etc. So really bad. Hopefully, and if you do feel that my energy is not at the same levels as it used at this comment, or that I'm gasping or puffing a little bit for air, that's because I'm still under recovery, so I'm not recovered yet. But basically now you know why I've been away. You can probably still hear a little bit in my voice as well. We're very glad to be back. Maybe I'll try to keep this one a little bit short, also because I don't know how long I can go. Let's give it a shot. And you guys know that I don't do takes. I press record, and that's what we do. So quite the developments over the past week. We are looking at the same dynamics. The key, which is TLT, and the dollar. The dollar was a little bit higher on the week, but TLT is now above 91. Or not sure if it closed above 91, but it was for quite some time above 91 last week. So meaning we are moving in the right direction. Now that doesn't mean, same goes for the dollar, that what we want is a lower dollar. That's obvious, right? But that doesn't mean that every single week the week's going to be negative. So it's going to be red on the dollar. There's going to be weeks where the dollar is up. And what you don't want to see is big reversals that can lead to counter trends. You see what I mean? But other than that, things should be fine. The uncertainty continues. I think it's a little bit overblown. I think most of the tariffs are being used as negotiating tools. Some of them I think will be put in place. Which ones is difficult to say. And some of them will be removed as new trade deals will be agreed upon. That's my feeling. Now, do they immediately mean recession? Do they immediately mean inflation? Do they immediately mean collapse of everything? No. And the issue with tariffs is that people say, oh, tariffs are terrible because of A, B, C, and D, and E, and the F, etc. But that's essentially because of the person who's ahead of them. If you change his name to Clinton, for example, all of a sudden tariffs make perfect sense. It's not a big deal. We can just shift from Mexico to Colombia, for example, whatever. And usually that's how these things go. So everything he does is terrible. Everything he doesn't do is great. And what I've been saying, and now it's funny to me, and you may recognize this, that all of a sudden so many channels are talking about global M2, liquidity, etc. I've been talking about it, as you guys know. We've been talking here about that in the channel for weeks and weeks, I think since February. And what we mentioned, and I will just repeat for the benefit of everyone, is financial conditions tightened aggressively in Q4 2024. That was reflected where? Where can I see those conditions? You see the dollar spiking up and yields on the bonds also spiking up. Those things are tightening, much worse than the Fed raising 25 basis points. Why is that? Well, because if you borrow in dollars and the dollar is going up, that means, particularly if you're a foreign country, it's going to cost you a lot to repay your debt in dollars, particularly when you cannot print them like the Fed. Number two, and it doesn't matter if you like the US or you hate the US or you don't care about the US, it doesn't matter if you have stuff in dollars. And why would people have dollar debt? Because all the commodities in this planet are priced in the dollar. That's it. That's the number one reason. And it's the most liquid currency there is. So if you have a Japanese company doing business with a Thai company, do you think they use Japanese yen? Do you think they use the Thai baht? No, they use the US dollar. So when you have two countries or companies from two countries that don't trust each other, the currency they use is dollars, despite the US is not even being minimally involved in such a transaction. So that's why when the dollar goes up and you have obligations in dollars, this is a huge issue, and you need to start not spending that money on, let's say, buying crypto. You have to put it aside to pay the higher dollar conversions. So that's one. Two, the interest rates. Of course, how can you have a mortgage if the yields on the longer end, which is where the mortgages are, right? Nobody makes a mortgage for 3 years. People make mortgages for 20 and 30, which is impacted on we've talked about the TLT. Then nobody can buy a house. So that's a big issue, because buying houses creates debt, which creates liquidity, which moves asset prices up. If you don't buy a house and you don't borrow money, then the liquidity doesn't come. So we saw liquidity coming downhill in Q4 2024. Those things have 60, 70 days of delay before you start seeing it. Now that coincided with the tariff talk. But I can tell you that stocks and crypto would have come down anyways. And it wouldn't be the tariffs, it would be, I don't know, US president fails to achieve peace as he promised. Whatever. It would be, or Trump's aggressiveness towards NATO creates uncertainty in the world. Or Trump, a lack of clarity in his policy about whatever, creates issues. Oh, Trump's views on illegal immigration is making companies fire people, so they have to hire legal work. I mean, whatever. Fill in the blank. The point is, this was meant to happen from that liquidity standpoint, which people overlooked, same as me. I thought we would have ran off until the beginning of the mid part of January before we had any sort of correction. If you remember my video about the predictions, I said we may have a correction in January, and starting in January, which we did. But I was cute with the cycles, and I tried to front run the Ethereum part, which obviously blew up in my face, and that's a wrong prediction. There's no question about it. But what people were missing that I was saying, and I know it was hard to see, it's hard to see because the prices were going down, and there was a lot of fear in the market, and every time you open CNBC, everything is burning, and every time you look at the stock market, everything is red, and every time you go there, everything is terrible, and the economy is about to collapse, and now the Atlanta Fed is predicting recession, and now this is happening, and now the other. So it was all over the place, so people get panicked. That's the point. Then Twitter goes on complete mental breakdown, as they always go. They are either in two stages: mental breakdown, super euphoria. That's it. There's nothing in between. And what I was saying is, but you're missing the point. The liquidity conditions, the financial conditions that tightened so much in Q4 2024 have completely reversed in Q1 2025. And actually, global M2 at the moment has exploded. From China, Europe, even the US is happening right now. The equivalent of cuts is already happening. It's TLT going up and up, and yields coming down and down, and the dollar keeps on coming down. It's the same effect. The Fed funds rate is just overnight funding rates that the banks use to fund themselves. That's all it is. Why it's useful? It's because it pulls the market down. It pulls the shorter end of the rates down, which has some impact on the longer side of the spectrum usually. So that's why people want those rates cut. But the most important part was for the Fed to signal stopping QT, which they already did. So they went now from 25 billion a month to 5 billion, and probably by next month they're finished. And You just need another couple of, maybe one or two of very good inflation reports, and you're there. You can start cutting, then people get all happy, and then people say, we are going up because the Fed cut rates. No, we are going up because liquidity conditions improved dramatically back in Q1 2025, so January, February, March of 2025, but nobody paid any attention to it because prices were going down. They don't understand the concept of a lag. Now, some people are finally starting to understand it, so now they talk about global M2, people that never talked about it, now they talk about it like, oh yeah, sure, M2, liquidity, this and that and the other. Yeah, but you were the same person predicting a bear market, 7 days ago. So which one is it? How can we have a bear market and explosion in the liquid, and then talking about the liquidity index as moving the markets up at the same time? How is that? How does that factor in? In my view, it doesn't. So if that's the case, if I'm correct in this perception, we should start to see prices moving steadily up, potentially as early as next week into June or so. Oh, what if it's not next week and it's the week after? Okay, so be it. Like, these things are not exact sciences. There's no, by 3 p.m. Eastern time it's it's around there. Okay, so maybe next week it starts already. Who knows? Let's hope so. I think Q1 will be soft in terms of GDP data. I think people will start saying, oh, recession, which means Q2 will probably be already a good quarter. And this is the thing. Over the past few years, couple of years particularly, people have been obsessed with recessions. If you listen to a guy like George Gammon from the Rebel Capitalist, I think that's his name, he talks about the global financial crisis at least 3 times a week. GFC. Oh, this is like the GFC. That is like the GFC, and the GFC comparable. Oh my God, GFC is completely obsessed with the global financial crisis. And they see parallelisms that, the moons are aligned the same way as the GFC, right? I mean, come on. You're going to have people like this. Harry Dent, last Friday, 2 days ago, was already predicting 94% crash in the NASDAQ between now and 2027. Of course, he said the same thing between 2020, 2022, 21, 23, 22, 24, 23, 25, 24, 26, and now 25, 27, and next year is going to be 26, 28. So we are back to the same. Peter Schiff has been telling people, shouting at people to sell all their Bitcoin to buy gold. I made a timestamp of when he said that. So in a few months, we're going to look back and we're going to run a test. See how that strategy would be for his investors. I get the feeling there's going to be another destruction of his followers as usual. And yeah, I mean, what we are waiting is Bitcoin to start resuming into the 90s, Ethereum to finally show strength and some pulse in it. PULSECHAIN is down in the shitter again. I actually, as you guys know, it's part of my core coins, and I do like the ecosystem, and I do think the coins are very well developed. It's just a pity the amount of drama all the time in that, like the inner drama, which I can understand both sides of the argument, but that's not the point. The point is, if I'm a foreigner in that ecosystem and I look inside and I see so much drama between everybody, influencer versus influencer, then it was X versus EX, then PLS versus PLSX, then these guys versus those guys, then Richard versus this one, and then that guy versus the other. It's like, if I'm a foreigner, when I'm talking about, what I say foreigner is, if I'm a person that has no money and I'm just fishing for goods, and I see all this fighting, I get, okay, let me go through something more simple. Oh, Sui, looks very straightforward. And this is what ends up happening, I believe. So let's hope that things can stabilize. We need green candles. It is what it is. Now, there's this conversation that I need to address here about PDAI, in which apparently there's an exploit that allows, or somebody figured out how to mint tokens for free. I don't know if this is actually exactly like that. I don't have I didn't spend the time, obviously, to look in depth into it as much. Of course, the price was reflected. I think Richard was also posted tweets against PDAI. Then people say, oh, he's just trying to test the believers, whatever. Look, PDAI is what it is to me from day one. It's a lottery ticket. If it goes to $1, that's great. I'm going to be extremely happy. If it goes to zero, I'm not going to live under the bridge. That's the point of a lottery ticket. I can live without it. So my level of stress doesn't move. When ND goes down 90% over an Ethereum, first of all, I already took so much profit on ND that it could go to zero, literally, that I'm going to be very happy already. But let's say I didn't. The point of a lottery ticket is this. If you win big. If you lose small. Asymmetric risk reward. That's it. That's all it is. So I don't even need to invest the time in figuring out, oh, this version is true, that version is false, that version is true, that version. I don't care. I'll give it a go. If it goes, great. I'm going to be very happy. If it doesn't go, so be it. Then it goes to zero. Then I lost a lottery ticket. Oops, so apparently I didn't have the golden promised ticket with a $150 million reward. Okay, so be it. The problem is that for a long time, PDAI was the only thing doing really, really well. And I get the feeling that a lot of people got overexposed to it. So now they are stressed to the max. Yeah, but then you lose the notion of lottery ticket. What have I told you so many times? The bull market is much harder than the bear market. The bear market is very easy. Every time of the week you buy, if you buy into certain cryptos like Bitcoin, like BNB, Solana, even Ethereum, even if you bought, let's say Ethereum is now $2,000. Ethereum was at 800 in the bear market and it stayed under 1,000 for quite a while. Even Ethereum, if you bought around the bear market time, you are up 2x. So what I'm trying to say is it's quite easy to dwell in the bear market because pretty much anytime you buy, what is my bear market strategy? Okay, we are in the bear market. Count to six monthly candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 monthly candles on Bitcoin. Okay, make your first purchase. Second, have we seen a really terrible news that seems to be sending crypto all to zero forever? No. Okay, wait. 7 months, red. 8 months, red. And it has been 365 days or 300. It's been almost a year since the last bull market. Okay, we are coming to an end. Question. What's going to be so negative that is going to destroy completely the crypto market and people will never feel safe dwelling in crypto anymore? FTX goes bankrupt. Okay, there you go. That's what you're looking for. Buy. Place the buys. That's my strategy. Please don't copy paste it. Now go back and retest what I've done. How does that work? Bull market is much harder because things start pumping, not all at the same time. Now, the euphoria phase is easy. It's pretty much everything you buy goes up. But the bull market itself, the euphoria phase, you're talking 60 days, 45, 60 days. Bull market, you're talking you're talking more than that. You're talking basically, I mean, for Bitcoin is after the year of the bear. For altcoins is the last year, which is now. It's actually is much harder because during the halving years, certain things start to pump, but not all at the same time. Mostly first cycle coins. So it's a bit more difficult to maneuver. And what people start to do is they start to get nervous. They start to over position themselves in certain assets. They start to take leverage. They start to chase green candles. They start to sell red candles. They start to do the opposite of what they know to do, but they start to get nervous, jittery, and then they pay a price. I mean, it's really that simple. It's very sad to see, but it really messes with people's minds. So I hope that the ecosystem can take a breather, relax, and move forward. And of course, the SEC has appealed for the extension of 30 days. I mean, based on what the president has said, I see it very unlikely that this is going to go anywhere in terms of continuation of the process. But in any case, it's of their right to appeal, and they've done it. So we need to wait and see what happens from there. Most important than anything is we need to start Ethereum to see Ethereum really moving, confidence into the market really returning. The fundamentals are all in place, and the chessboard is being ready to play. One of the things I like to see was that Hoppy finally seems to have rounded up a really good bottom. And it seems to now be trying to put some consistent upward moves. And that community, I follow them for a long time, and I really think they really deserve it. So I wish them the best of luck on that. Same for Boppy, same for Andy. You guys know I love my lottery tickets. And for the retirement coins, let's see what we can have. I mean, in my view, if Polygon can pump 100-fold in 100 days, anything is possible. And with that, thank you very much for your support, guys. Don't forget, I don't give you financial advice, just my perspective. Thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes, and thank you for the messages asking where I've been all this time. Now you guys know. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a nice week and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.